Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. We're going to continue making doll purses today, and this one is a Louis Vuitton style purse. Let's get started. I found this pattern on the internet. I'll put the link below, and I printed it out on some textured paper. The nice thing about doing it this way, if you have a photo editor, is you can make the bag larger or smaller. So if you wanted to make a little bit larger bag like a portfolio, you could just make that bigger. Now I did leave a little bit extra on the flaps because I made this bag once before and that wasn't really enough to fold in and glue. Now I'm going to put little creases on the underside where you're going to make folds on this bag. It makes you have a nice clean fold and makes it easier to fold. Because we're going to put a lining in this, you're going to want to have this done before you glue the lining down. Also, everywhere you're going to fold, I'm scoring it. So even the little tabs, you want to score those. It just makes it so much easier to fold it and makes a nice clean line when you fold it. All right, we got all that done. Now I have this raw silk scrap. I'm going to use that for the interior lining. So I've cut that out, and I didn't include the tab parts. I am going to put a strip on the part that will be seen, but I didn't want to put it on the tabs so it would be easier to glue and easier to fold. Now when you do this, just make sure you get it all the way to the edges, the outer edges, because that's going to seal the fabric as well so that it doesn't fray and come apart. And make sure you press that down really good around the edges because you want that to seal. Okay, we're going to let that dry, and you'll see I did put the little strips on the sides as well. And we're going to make the folds, and then apply glue to the little tabs. And put that together, go sit somewhere and let it dry. Like watch TV, that's what I do. And now we're cutting out what's going to be the flap that folds over. Okay, and we'll put that aside for later. Now I'm using a little thin leather strip. This is like the lacing that you would use to put together leather goods. I did get it at Michael's if you want to know where I got it. And I have to do this in stages to let the glue dry. Otherwise, going around lots of curves and everything would be really difficult to try to do this all at once. So in between different sections, I'm turning the camera off and letting that section dry. And then I come back after it's dry and it won't be dislodged and glue another section. So this took quite a bit of time. Doesn't take quite as long on the video because I'm speeding it up, and also I'm not showing all the time that I had to sit and wait. But if you're going to sit at night and watch television with your husband or something, um, this is kind of the thing that I would do during that time. All right, so we're going around the curve. We've gone all across one side, and now we're going to go all the way across the other. And this serves two purposes. First of all, it helps also seal that fabric so that it doesn't fray, and it makes a nice outer edge to the purse so that it doesn't look, cheap. And I like this to kind of look, as realistic as I can. Certainly not completely realistic because it's made out of paper and not leather, but I like putting this little trim. I think it really adds a lot to the purse. And now just cutting a little tiny pieces for that section on the sides. And that'll be the finishing part of the bag with this outside lacing part. There's a little tip of glue in there, and that usually is pretty easy to get in. I'm using my little pointed tool to stick it and place it in there. And we're going to set that aside and let that dry now that we've got that placed. And we're going to work on the flap. And on this, instead of putting it right on the edge as I did for the purse, I'm actually putting it on the top of the very edge because it's only going to be seen from the top side. So instead of putting it on the edge, actually put it right at the edge of the top. And again, I'm doing it in sections, letting each section dry in between so I can make sure that I get a nice clean edge on all of the pieces. So we've got those two finished. Now before we put the flap on, we need to put the chain handles. So you can decide whether you want it to be, the sort of purse you carry in your arm or a shoulder bag. I'm making this one more of a shoulder bag, so the handles are a little bit longer. And we're going to get a couple of, well, 4 jump rings to use to attach it to the bag. Now I'm using a cork from a wine bottle underneath and then poking a hole pretty close to the top, but far enough apart so that in the middle we can get the flap on the bag. And then we do that on the other side. And then we're going to take the jump rings and twist them apart. I'm going to put the one end of a chain on one and stick that through the hole and then close it back up. And same thing for the other end of that chain. Although I started to put it across the bag, as you see here, and I was like, whoops, that's not the way you do it. It goes on the same side. So we get that one closed, and then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Open up the jump ring, thread it through that hole, and close it. You could use ribbon on this for handles if you wanted to, but I think the chain is more, more like how a real one would look and adds a lot to it. All right, so we've got that part done. We got our little handles. Now we're going to attach the flap. So we're going to first glue the part in the back. The back part is squared off, as you can see. So put that on there, and I'm going to let that dry for a few minutes and come back and then flip that over and glue that down, because I'm not really interested in whether these parts is open or not. They're for looks as far as what I use them for. Okay. Now, if you wanted to make it so that it would open and close, you could probably use like a little tiny piece of Velcro. Now, this is another bag that I made earlier, smaller. As you can see, if you use that photo editing software, you can make that pattern bigger or smaller. And this one I made a little bit bigger as a shoulder bag. I also made that little suitcase under it. That was quite a project, let me tell you. Took a long time. Anyway, that's our purse for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Please subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any other exciting videos coming up. Thanks and bye.